Good day everyone, this is Junaid Khan and I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I am also taking care of my clients to the IRB, Immigration Refugee Board as well. Today's topic is going to be for students because this is the prime time for students to apply for their study permits to Canada, because September is going to be one of the major intake, and most of the students not only just in Canada, but whichever country they are picking, I feel like this is going to be the major intake when most of the students enroll themselves to study abroad from any country. When it comes to the study permit or student visa for Canada, there are going to be three major steps, three major points which I feel like every student should look into, and they have to work wisely towards their application for these parts. So the first part, we're going to be talking about admissions specifically for Canada. The second part, we are going to talk about the financials, how to take care of that, plus the statement of purpose. And the third part is going to be if a student wants to change their DLI or change their institute after their visa has been approved, what are going to be the information for that. So I will touch base all of these three major topics, and I feel like these are the main important things one should know who is currently enrolling themselves or preparing for their visa applications. So let's go to the first part. The first part is going to be if you are going to apply for the admissions in Canada. Institutes are there. One thing you specifically have to look for is DLI, which stands for Designated Learning Institute. So these institutes are basically approved by the Government of Canada, who can actually enroll international students, and they can also provide the postgraduate work permit after their study completion as well. So there are two kind of institutes. There are public institutes and there are private institutes. So if you get into any private institute, a private institute can be a DLI as well. So institute who is not public, I mean, DLI is one umbrella, and then there are public institutes and private institutes. So the difference between the two is, if you want to get a postgraduate work permit and you want to work your way forward towards the permanent residency in Canada, you should enroll yourself in DLI and public institute. So these two boxes should be checked. There are some students who actually wish to enroll themselves for the short courses and they don't want to pursue their permanent residency in Canada. They can just pick the private institutes as well. And the only reason they're picking private institutes because they don't want to stay in Canada after that period. That means if you finish your education in Canada from a private institute, you are not going to be eligible for the postgraduate work permit. I also want to add one important thing is here. After last year, 2024, Canada introduced the PAL letter, which is the provincial attestation letter. And after Canada introduced the provincial attestation letter quotas, what happened is all of the institutes who are DLI and public, they are not offering the postgraduate work permit in all of their courses. So one thing you have to be very vigilant about. So when you are getting admission in Canada, three boxes should be checked. Definitely, you have to check very clearly. Number one, institute should be a designated learning institute, DLI. Institute should be a public institute, and the course you are picking, that is PGWP aligned. That means that after finishing up your course, you're also getting a postgraduate work permit. So these are the few things which you should be thinking about while you're getting an admission in Canada in September intake, which is going to be a little rare now because we are already in mid-June. Most of the institutes are enrolling for the January 2026 intake now, but there are, I was checking last night for one of my clients, there are multiple institutes, universities and colleges are open for the September intake for international students as well. Moving forward to the next point, which is important for the visa documentation, is financials and statement of purpose. So students who wish to apply their study permit application now for September intake, who already grabbed their admissions in the institutes in Canada, they're finalizing their application for the visa process. A lot of them, I would say, whoever enrolled in September intake, they mostly now working on their visa applications. So I feel like this is a good time to basically make this video to clear up a few things for these students. Before a couple of months ago, Canada was offering two kind of different portals, two kind of different visa categories for the students, SDS and non-SDS, student direct stream and other than student direct stream. So in student direct stream, what used to happen was student is supposed to pay the 2-semester fee to Canada Institute, plus they are also supposed to pay 21,650 approximately 20,650 approximately 21,000 to the Canadian banking institution, which was supposed to be their settlement amount or 1 year amount where they can actually help themselves for their rent and accommodation and everything else. Right now, SDS is not eligible anymore. Canada completely discarded the SDS program because they feel like this is not same for each student. They're not giving the equal opportunity to the people who can afford SDS or who cannot afford SDS. So SDS is out of the picture right now. So there is no SDS plan anymore in 2025 going forward after this video and a couple of months before as well. So now a lot of students are actually confused. Why? When there was a student SDS plan, the picture was very much clear that you have to pay 2-semester fee, whatever institute is telling you their semester fee, plus you have to pay a fixed amount, which is 20,635 to the Canadian Banking Institute. So when you pay 2-semester fee and you pay the GIC to the Canadian banks, your financials are pretty much clear, because end of the day, pretty much every country is looking for that whoever student is coming to get education from them, specifically Canada, they want to see that you have funds available equivalent to your 1 year of total expense, including your education and your accommodation, rentals, food and everything else. So they make up a plan that 20,635 approximately 21,000 were good enough, and then you pay both, and then there you go. You don't have to show any financials after that. That was when SDS was open, it was the very simple and a very straight pathway for the students. But now, because SDS is not an option anymore, so a lot of students are actually confused how to show a good financials, a good bank statement, or how to show an immigration officer that you can actually afford this education in Canada and you can also sustain yourself in Canada during the period of your education. So the rule is very simple. The rule of thumb is that how Canada calculated in the SDS program, this is how you calculate your expenses in Canada and show immigration officer that you can or you have sufficient funds to support yourself during this time. So let's suppose if someone is enrolled in an institute and their semester fee is 10,000, that means in 1 year you are going to be doing 2 semesters. That makes it 20,000. Plus you also have to show your 1 year expenses in Canada. Now this 1 year expenses can be different, because if your institute is in Ontario, and let's go specifically, let's say Toronto. So if your institute is in Toronto, that means your living expenses, your living cost will be a little higher. So it's better to show a good bank statement other than your educational fee. If you are living in BC, or if your institute is in Alberta, so you have to somehow calculate, or let's pick up a number. When SDS was there, Canada was asking you to pay approximately 21,000. So if your institute is in Alberta or PEI or New Brunswick, that means your living cost is drastically low as compared to living in Toronto. So you can actually show a little less. So this is how you can show your financials to Canadian the immigration officer that you have approximately 2 semester funds available in your bank account, plus you have enough funds to sustain yourself in Canada for the 1 year period. So this is the key to maintain your bank statement to show in your study permit application. Another major point within this part is the statement of purpose. A lot of students are very confused, and I have seen many students who don't even do it. So you definitely do that you actually put the statement of purpose in your application. The statement of purpose is basically a letter written by a student telling them their background information, what they have done before, why they're picking Canada, and why they're picking particular institute, specifically why they're picking this particular course, and after doing that course, what is going to be the gain there, like what are they gaining, and what is the motivation going to be for them to go back to their home country and start working over there, what is going to be the progression in their education about the course. Plus you can also talk about financials, how you get at them. If somebody's supporting you, you can also add their information. If your parents are supporting you for the financials, your brother or anybody from Canada, you can also add that information. So the statement of purpose is not really a required document. When you are applying your visa, you can't really see that specific tab for the statement of purpose, but I would highly recommend that you add the statement of purpose. Tell yourself about the immigration officer and the motivation behind this education from Canada, so that it'll make it easier for you to for them, the immigration officers, to understand your situation and grant you visa. And that you can actually add in the supporting documents folder in the portal while applying for your study permit application. I mean, I can talk more about it, how to do it, because some people really dig into it. That statement of purpose is supposed to be very important, and it's supposed to be 10 pages and 2 pages. So they're all sort of different ideas, but it should be long enough that you describe yourself very well to a person who doesn't know you at all. The last point here, student must know what are the policies going on to change their institute after the visa is being approved. I have made a video about this before, but I just wanted to make a fresh video about this because this is the students' time. Most of the students are applying their visas at that point, so they must know what's going on if they want to change their institute after coming to Canada. And the reason I am talking about this today is because this was the very normal everyday practice back in the days. The practice was, some of the immigration consultants and agents and students themselves, I have heard and seen in the student mind that immigration is going to approve their visas if they're applying for big universities, A category universities, expensive universities, or a program which are 4 years bachelor's program or a master's program. I have seen people saying that there is no approval for the colleges, they have to go for the universities, which is a complete lie or a misinformation, I would say, in a better way. That's not a game at all. I have multiple approvals for the undergrad students in colleges and for postgrad students in colleges as well. But I'm not going to divert from my topic. The topic is what's going to happen if somebody wants to change their institute after their visa is approved and they're in Canada. So before, what used to happen is, people used to apply for the university's 4-year bachelor program or 2-year master program, and after they get their visa stamped on their passport, they come to Canada, and now they want to change their program from 4-year bachelor's to 2-year undergrad, or from 2 years master's to 1 year postgrad. And why they do that? Because definitely colleges are a lot cheaper than the universities, and plus you're cutting down your educational time in Canada. Rather than doing a 4-year degree, you're doing a 2-year degree, so you're saving 2 years there. plus the postgraduate work permit you're going to get is the equal amount, which is 3 years. So if you do 4-year degree, again you can get a 3 years of postgraduate work permit, or if you do 2-year degree, it's the same amount of work permit. So people started, what a lot of students I've seen doing is like getting enrolled in 4-year program, after visa approval change it to college and save some money as well. But what used to happen before was, if you are doing this, you just need to inform the IRCC that I am not pursuing this university for the 4-year program, rather than I am going to the college and I'm going this particular course, which is 2 years, and that's it. You just have to let IRCC know. But this is past now. Immigration has been really strict on this part. So now, if you want to change your DLI institute, if you want to change your institute after your visa got approved and you're in Canada, you have to apply the new study permit application. You have to apply for the study permit extension application, which is pretty much altogether the same application, the same process which somebody has already went through while applying their first application for the visa officer. And again, when you apply after changing your institute, now if you're applying for a new application, again this is going to be on the immigration officer discretion, that if they really want to approve this application or not approve this application. So in other words, this is a big no unless it is absolutely required or a student really want to switch their institute. In other words, switching institutes are not going to be an option anymore. So you have to be very careful while picking up the courses before you apply your visas. So talk to the institutes, talk to their admin staff, look at the per semester courses, find your interest in that course, check the fees beforehand. You need to know how much are you paying for this course, because I don't want anybody realize after they're getting visas that, oh, we made a blunder, the fees is too much, or the institute is in a different province, or I don't like the course anymore, because that's going to cost you a new application and a new tension altogether again, rather is going to be approved or not approved. So be very careful picking up your application and convincing immigration officer. Things are a little tricky now. It's not as easy as it was a couple of years ago. So make sure you made no mistakes in your applications, and I wish you the good luck to all the students who are applying for the Canadian Study Permit application in 2025. Thank you very much.